Satori has told me on different occasions, like this location has been a place that she's found safety in. There's a train behind us that's reminding me of a story that Satori had told me. There was a few nights that Satori would run away from because she needed a safer place to be. And she actually would sleep next to these train tracks. There's like some old abandoned cars, and she would climb into them and sleep in those at night.
Yeah, you think it's loud when you try sleeping next to it. I think it was like 2 weeks before I ended up coming to the shelter.
So literally about a year ago.
Yeah.
How did you first hear about the Coffee Oasis? Like, how did that come about?
Well, it was when my mom first kicked my older sister out. She went to the Coffee Oasis, the one in Bremerton. She packed all my bags, threw them out the car, and she just left without even knowing if there was any beds available.
So that first day that Satori came to us was a pretty emotional day. Luckily that day we actually had a bed available, so it was a blessing, and we got a hold of her mom, got a permission for her to be there, and that was kind of the start of Satori coming into our shelter was that way.
I really didn't come out of my room for like 2 weeks.
And there was a lot going on in that first 2 weeks, for sure.
Yeah.
But then there was some friendships that were made. So there's a little group, we called them the Three Musketeers. There was a group of 3 of you guys that became really close friends pretty quick, and it was really sweet to watch them. I mean, like, we even got to go to summer camp together with some of those other people, and just continue that relationship. So I think the shelter has created a really cool opportunity for kids to make friends that kind of become family.
I always tell people, like, I always feel like the shelter has always been more of like a home to me than like living with my mom, because Aaliyah, she was just there and she just like hugged me and she didn't even know me when my mom just left me on the doorstep. And she's continued to do that even when my mom has continued to do that, metaphorically. Like, I felt really safe and I created like my little circle. And it's just like I wasn't really thinking about anything. I started drinking a lot more and I was smoking a lot. I didn't do it because I didn't feel safe. I just felt kind of like abandoned. But it's like I always had people that I could go to when I was at the shelter. Well, I started like first like drinking and smoking when I was 12, but there was some like past abuse like going on during that. But it's like when I really started, like, it was just because like I was just craving that validation from my mom, and the only thing that was making it better was the drugs, and it was the alcohol. Like, she smoked for 22 years, and it's like, and I tried to explain to her how like what is wrong with me, and like she knows that I have problems with like my mood, and she's like, you haven't smoked as long as I have, so there's no reason you should just be able to stop. She wonders why I continue to go back and do it, because she doesn't give me what I need. But then Abraham just like started acting weird. Like he wasn't acting the same way. That just like hit a certain spot, because they were like my safe people. Like they were like, we would literally do everything together. And I was like, hey, let's go drink. And then I got drunk, and when I get drunk, like everything comes out. And yeah.
And what did you just look at?
My scars.
From what happened that night?
I cut bad. Yeah. 37 stitches.
That was a tough night in the hospital. I mean, she was not in her right mind, but Satori, as soon as she saw me, started crying and calling for me. So I went over to her, and Satori kept on yelling like one thing, and that was, Aaliyah, just let me die. That was a hard night, but we got Satori the help that she needed, and that sparked our quest to find a facility where Satori could get that help, and that turned out to be Daybreak. And we We did everything we could to try to figure out how to get Satori there. And what did we do, Satori?
Picked me up from Tacoma General and we drove 5 hours to Spokane.
Satori and I spoke almost every week, and that's why we started coming here, is because I make sure to try to meet with her every week as much as possible.
I've always thought that like a home was like supposed to be like a house, but it's not. She's my person.
Holy crap.
My relationship with my younger sister is like getting better. Like we sit together on the bus. She's literally the only person that I hang out with. And it's like she's become more of like the person I can talk to. We just come to each other and we vent. And I feel like that's one thing that has gotten a lot better. She's become like my bonding person.
That's good. Maybe you can be the person that she looks up to.
And I've tried to be.
There's one big thing about Satori's story that I think I want other people to know about, is that it's not over. It's not wrapped up in a pretty bow. Life still continues to move on. And I mean, just like everybody, there's high points and there's low points, and we fail. But that's okay, because Satori has grown to have a relationship around her of people who want to support her. And I think a big part of that is Coffee Oasis, and trying to make sure that Satori, as well as other youth, are going to continue to get the help that they need even after they leave our shelter.